Want to do a quick response to a weird, not a weird, but kind of a little bit unusual question that came up on a forum, and it already had like a million responses. So I didn't want to get involved on the forum as I often don't. But I'll get involved with you because I love all of you. Um, okay, so the gist of the question is like performing musicians forum, like, hey, what do y'all do when someone's, you know, someone's tipping you well and they're engaged, and then they come up to you and they say, hey, can my friend play guitar for one song? Something like that. And a lot of the responses kind of fell into a couple camps, like uh, just flat out no, or some version of lie to them but still no, like, oh, I'm sorry, my insurance doesn't cover that, or something weird to that effect, or something like, if you tip me $200. So here's the thing. First off, uh, that's a real request. That has happened to me. Not counting open stages where it's sort of expected that someone might be, in essence, asking, can they play my guitar while they do their set in the open stage? Is my guitar a house guitar? Is really what their question is. So not counting that, I can think of one time, like vividly, and let's just go out on a limb and say that's maybe happened two other times in my entire career. So not something that happens that often. I guess I can think of a few times where I've been asked something of that ilk and found a way to say no. So let's just say this: fewer than 10 times in a 35-year career. So it really comes down to this, in my opinion. You either are finding a way to say yes, or else you're finding a way to politely say no. And finding a way to say yes is that just your gut feel is that this is going to work out okay, and that the risk is worth the reward for you. And that is a case by case differentiation that you need to make. And so if you're having trouble like figuring out what's what, or you're so in the case where you're trying to say yes, what you want to do is say, hey, let's talk on my break, and then talk to the person, and you kind of want to establish like a you must be this tall to ride the ride kind of bar for them to pass. Like, so tell me about. You can say, I normally don't let people play my guitar. It's an expensive instrument. You know, I need to take good care of it, and as you can imagine, some people just are not up to it. So talk to me a little bit about how experienced you are, and what you plan to do, and then if you're getting the sense that they are a sensible person who just really wants to like have a moment on stage, you say, I think we can make an exception. I'd appreciate it if, you know either they've been tipping a lot, or you can say, yeah, I'd appreciate it if you throw something in the jar and encourage your friends to do the same. Show me real quick what you're going to do, just so I can make sure you're not a maniac. I often say that, just so I can make sure you're not a maniac, because I want to like emphasize and reinforce that if I let you use my guitar, even my backup beater guitar, I don't want to see anything weird or aggressive going on. I want you to be respectful and follow the rules, as it were. And then if I'm inclined to say no, I just sort of make a different version of that initial script. I'll say, you know, that's really not a thing that I do. I mean, my gear's expensive, and it's important to me, and I don't generally let people play my instrument. I'm sorry that that's a disappointment, but um, whatever. And if it's just that they want to sing, I will say, I don't really do requests, but let's have again. If that's now, I'm starting to go down that path of, well, I might be inclined to say yes to that, but it goes back into the script of, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what's about to happen. Let me size you up. And if they're, the toughest part is going to be if you're going to that size up and it looks like it's going to be a disaster. I don't really care if they aren't, you know, professional grade. If they like to play a song and they're amateurs, that's whatever. That is what it is. Their friends are going to be supportive, and you're trying to make somebody's night, and hopefully get some tips in the process. An important thing to know is that you do need to be mindful of if the venue is, is a venue that allows covers, because that's probably what this person is going to do. So if you are in a venue that is originals only, you need to be really upfront that, hey, um, that's not going to be a possibility tonight because this is an originals only venue. So if you have if you have an honest reason that the answer is no, just say that reason politely.